Hello guys, and welcome to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series with me, your host Guile. And while we wait for more developments in the Imber Cup 2, I thought I would bring you another Setons match. This will be the second one of the series, and I believe this was fought at some point at the end of last week, Friday, Saturday, and I took one look at the clientele and I thought, you know what, I'm going to have to cast this game because I'm rather excited about it, because the more astute of you will notice that this is some of the cream of the current Forged Alliance Forever crop, so to speak. Some of the most influential and most regular, highest rated players. Certainly with people like Zoc and Eisen and Freshy and Clan Tags Uber, some really serious players. So looking forward to this one. If we take a look at the players up here, Team 1. Taking the rearguard ASF position, we've got Clan Tags Uber. And down here on the left-hand ocean defense side, we have Raging Squirrel, and he's going to be going as UEF. Also going as UEF, we have the one and only Zoc. And over here, taking the front position, we have, where's he gone? Freshy. There he is, and he's going to be going Fim. And up against him, we've got on Team 2, Ish, and he's going to be running Cybran. And facing off against the team from Team 1, there's also going to be sort of mirrored in opposition. We've got Galactic Fear going as Fim, and also the one and only Eisen also going as Fim. So it's going to be a UEF versus Fim naval battle. Should be quite interesting. And taking the rearguard ASF position for Team 2 is going to be Ichiban. So lots to look forward to in this one, as we can see an early T1 bomber coming out from Uber, managing to pick up a engineer kill off Ish, always annoying, but hasn't stopped anything major like a hydrocarbon being finished. He's going to trundle that straight on over to Galactic Fear's base, see if he can do some more damage. I-bomb alone, that's been named. It's pretty classy, well done there, mate. And yeah, just picking up another little engineer kill, so doing all kinds of nasty little damage, but Eisen's on the case. He's sending a T1 interceptor over there to take it out. We've got a com-on-com little fracas happening as these two try and grab the mass, as is very typical of all Setons matches. So that seems to be going well, and some very nice teamwork actually. Both teams doing exactly the same, with the same position. Eisen has given 2 T1 power plants to Ish, and Raging Squirrel has given 2 T1 power plants to Freshy, and that is very standard, but very nice little work getting 2 very damaged Mantis round the back of Freshy's lines, and that is going to be annoying because he's going to probably kill off this engineer before that hydrocarbon was. Yes, he is, and he's going to take out that hydrocarbon before it was finished, and that is annoying. Freshy is coming up though with some tanks, and he's going to be able to finish those off before it does too much damage. However, that is a little bit of wasted time. There's no engineers anywhere near it, and all this time he's going without the hydrocarbon, which is not where you want to be if you're in the front position. Meanwhile, this little com-on-com battle is still going on, neither person managing to get any significant advantage, both hovering around the sort of 7, 8, 9,000 hit points, but a few tanks and artillery coming in now for Freshy, while Mantis come in at the same time from Ish, just to spice things up a little bit. And Ish for now looking like he's gaining some kind of advantage, maybe not. No, it's all very even, and comms looking like they're going to back away from each other just now while they wait to do that. Lots and lots of factories in production. I love this little template that Ish has got, little power plant, T1 power plant and walled base. Very interesting. Lots and lots of scouting going on airwise from Galactic Fear with T1 interceptors and scout planes. Meanwhile, large T1 force is now amassing for Freshy, and Ish is just using it to get as many kills out of it as he can, but he's going to get a lot of T1 artillery in the face, and that is not comfortable. He's going to back that up, and he's going to take even more T1. So massively yielding a hit point advantage com-wise. Freshy is definitely ahead at the opening of this game, so Ish just coming off slightly second best in the opening exchanges. Meanwhile, if we look up over here, both naval islands have been taken by their corresponding owners, so no early drops have been managed to succeed for either team. But we do see a drop coming in here. Looks like Lobos. Yeah, it is T1 artillery coming in from Zok. And the question is, Eisen has seen this. He's trying to get interceptors. Will he manage to take this out before they land? Oh, not quite enough. One more interceptor would have done it. They land, and that's going to be annoying. That looked like it was in the middle of upgrading, though it was on pause. Doesn't look like he's changed his mind on the upgrades. They're going to focus now on the T1 factory. Bombers coming in to try and take them out before they do it, but I don't think they're going to manage. No, there goes the factory. So, yeah, definitely paid for itself, that little raid in terms of hampering. Meanwhile, Army's still amassing in the middle. You can see for Freshy and Ish. See if there's any kind of early tech up. Okay, so Ish has got his T2 land factory up and running. Everything else is on pause, obviously, so he's either having mass or power issues, I think. Well, he was low on mass, but yeah, he's doing something serious now. So look at the mass drop just as he unpauses all of his production on the rest of his T1 facilities. The question is, has Freshy matched it? Is he up to T2 anywhere as well? Doesn't look like it. So it looks like Freshy's going to come across T2 units first. If we slow this up, that is quite the mess, and it looks like Freshy has a superior force. Lots of artillery packed in amongst his use. In fact, it's mostly artillery, and yeah, Ish just forced to back up away from the com, trying to get as many kills as he can to get ranks on his commander. Taking a lot of fire now. Freshy, obviously, with the gun upgrade, the rate of fire upgrade that Seraphim get, so not going to be able to go toe-to-toe with him, but he has got his first rank. Finally, Mantis numbers now get into superior ratio for Ish. So a little bit of a pushback happening now. Freshy needs to think about backing up, which he is now doing. And Freshy looking a little bit isolated here. Needs to hurry up some forces. But Freshy not looking in too much danger with that upgrade on his commander. Able to dish out so much damage on his second rank at 45 kills. It wouldn't be too long before he gets up to his third rank at this rate. Freshy very much using this as a farming exercise. Ish could do with moving his commander out of the way, but obviously his attention is elsewhere for the moment, but there he goes. And 6 or 7 more kills, and Freshy will be obtaining the next rank. And there he goes. So no danger really for either commander at this stage. Interesting. That is a mobile bomb which has come out for Ish. Extraordinary. I never see anyone build these. Maybe it's just me, but the question is, obviously that they do huge amount of damage. I think it's 4,500 I think damage on a mobile bomb, something like that. So if like I say, if Freshy gets hit with one of those, it could do a significant chunk. But Ish now looking very, very isolated. It looks like he's heading for the water. Needs to be careful, although these are only frigates, so not going to be getting too much trouble from Zok. Still not masses happening on the Navy. Zok is up to T2 on one of his naval factories, but doesn't look like he's producing any T2 units from it just as yet. Elsewhere, T2 units, naval factory also for the Raging Squirrel. So it's looking like naval-wise, Team 1 has a little bit of an advantage. Looks like Eisen's preparing a drop here. But we'll see if anything happens of that at the moment. But mobile bomb heading straight for Freshy, and Freshy spotting it just in time. Another one going in. Oh, down to 2,500 hit points. And that has just cost Freshy his role in the game. I don't think he's making it out of there. That is very interesting play from Ish there. Well done, I gotta say. That's the most use I've ever seen anyone get out of a mobile bomb. So, because they usually always get spotted and kip off first, but Freshy obviously his attention must have been a little bit split. There you go. Yeah, one Lucky's mobile bomb. Yes, indeed. But yeah, so Zoc now taking over the forces of Freshy. Now that's a problem for Team 2, because if there's one person you don't want getting a huge mass and power injection, it's a player like Zoc. But and as you see, he's already pumping out governors. So yeah, that's it's an interesting fact when you get either people transferring control of the units over to a friend. Personally, if it's up to me, I usually like to have share until death on, because FAF likes to do it automatically if you don't select that. I think it's a little bit of a what's the word? Oh, I guess it's not a cheat, but it's unfortunate if you do so well as to take somebody out that all of their forces remain in the game, and sometimes it can cost you the game because you're effectively giving control of a huge portion of resources to the control of one person. And Sprint Commander, it's all about what you can do with, especially on assassination obviously, which all these games are, it's all about targeted use of resources, and if you're putting it all in the hands of one player, then you're allowing them to spam up, I don't know, powerful units that they can do damage with in certain points, or rush strat bombers or whatever it might be to go for a comm snipe. So it's always a problem, and I do personally enjoy it when a commander goes up, their forces go with it, because I think that team has earned it. But nevertheless, that is not happening here. It did look like actually they were given first, but rather than sharing to death on, but we'll see. Meanwhile, T2 point defense up for Zoc, so he's definitely managing to lock down this proportion. Unfortunately, a little bit of relief is just getting in the way of that T2 point defense, and Ish, yeah, needs to move his units because they're taking governor fire, but I'm not sure that's the direction he needs to move it in. That bomb's going to go nowhere fast, and it's going to... This is definitely not going to work well for them. We've got Ilshivas moving in now. Quite a few of them, actually. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, I mean, that would be enough to probably deal with this force on its own without all of this torrent of spam that he's got with him. So, Ish wisely electing to retreat at that point. Governors from Zoc coming in from the other side. So really, naval-wise, Team 1 has the advantage, and Ish is going to do well to get out of this one with any base left intact. I imagine they're going to come down here and put some pressure on. Eisen is working on his navy, but there's nothing particularly threatening there. He's massing T1 frigates. He's elected not to do a drop in the end. He's just dropped those units off. And you can see now the UEF naval forces from Squirrel are coming in, and that's going to be the end. I really don't think he's going to manage to secure it up here. That's a T2 power gen, which is going to be a serious loss. And, Ish is going to have to think about retreating, I think. Nice little idea from Ishiban getting up here to... I guess he's been grabbing some mass. He's had a few engineers wandering around. Obviously, you hope with the thought of supporting Ish, but that doesn't look like it's going to do him any favours whatsoever. And that's another T2 mass point that can ill afford to be lost at this stage. Now we're going to see some units from Galactic Sphere moving in, maybe to engage, or not. Looks like Squirrel is obviously doing something big as well, because his shields are blinking on and off. that looks like the end of the forward base from Fort Ish. He's going to have to back right up. And that is a lot of his production going up in smoke. So it really is. It illustrates the point nicely of what can happen when those resources get put into the hands of one player. See Ish making a hasty retreat up here. And that gives Team 1 a huge territory advantage now. You can see Galactic Fear, it doesn't want that attack to progress any further towards Eisen's base, and since he had a whole bunch of engineers hanging around this area, he's going to rush up some T2 point defense. But it looks like he's going to lose that T2 factory, so that's quite the blow, adding to the troubles of Ish. Lucky to get out of this with much base left at all. But we're getting to that stage in the game now where the ASF guys have quite the considerable build-up. It does look like Ichiban's a little bit ahead on production, but Uber's not far behind him, so both teams pretty evenly matched, certainly at this point. Zok's Ilshavas are not engaging. It's interesting, probably, I suppose, yeah, Ish is 5-starred on his comm, so he figures it would be a better use of resources just to bring this right down and put some fire on Galactic Fear's base. As they go past, they're probably going to take out a frigate on the way. Yes, they are. Sounds like Uber's having horrible FPS issues. Meanwhile, over on the right-hand side, Eisen has managed to force Zok to retreat his navy, which is interesting. Oh yes, there we go. I was going to say, didn't look like he had that much of a naval advantage, but we have T3 sub-hunters, the Pimp Imbermobiles for Seraphim. So dangerous. It's going to be interesting to see how Zok counters it, and it looks like he's building an Atlantis, and I guess with enough Atlantis and shields, that will probably work quite nicely. Sure, I mean, he's got a lot more mass and energy than anybody else, so just take a look at how much he has got. So for instance, if we match up against Eisen, he's sitting on 298 mass, 6,340 power, whereas Eisen is currently sitting on 200, so I mean it's a pretty significant advantage at only 11,000 power. So yeah, pretty significant advantage there for Zok, so I guess mass Atlantis spam could work quite nicely if you can keep the pressure up. Eisen hasn't got anything too dangerous long range wise that can come up and hurt any of this front base. If he had a cruiser or two in there, that could really hurt. But he's elected to build a whole bunch of T1 arty, and he is sending them straight across to this little forward position that Zok has put together. He's actually built a nice TAC missile launcher there, and he's putting fire down onto Ish's base. I imagine that's going to snipe mass. One very heavily damaged T2. There's another T2 there. It's probably going for this back one. There it goes. So Ish is in all kinds of trouble. He's effectively, to all intents and purposes, out of the game at this point. Or for now, he needs help from his teammates to try and secure this front section, which is what Eisen is trying to do. I think that's, with these Ilshavas here, that's really not going to get the job done. And he's got T2 point defense stacking up behind and under the shield. So Eisen is wisely retreating those and not going to get any kind of penetration there. And with this Atlantis now in the fracas, or in the fray, or in the navy, it looks like Zok feels like he has a chance to take on this navy of Eisen's. You can see the shield coverage is pretty extensive, and that really is the big strength of UEF. If you ever hear people saying UEF Navy sucks, well, I'm sorry, it doesn't. People always feel that because their Tech 2 submarine, or sorry, their Tech 2 torpedo boat is a boat rather than a sub, so it can be destroyed from the air. But the shield boats, I mean, the coverage that you get on them is phenomenal, and they're underutilized by people who aren't quite so seasoned at the game. So yeah, if you ever worried about how to take on a Finn. Lots and lots of shield boats and lots of either T1 subs, or I guess, if you've got the mass, go mass Atlantis spam. But yeah, it's not for everybody. Meanwhile, over on this side, the governors are happily firing at the fleet of Galactic Fear, who I don't think he's actually noticed that they're in range and coming under fire. Finally he does, and manages to save that very, very heavily damaged one. Meanwhile, lots and lots of blazes coming out from Ishiban. Pretty terrible unit as far as I'm concerned, but nevertheless, it is units, which is what Ish needs, and he's building TAC missile defense down there, and now he's been given these blazes by Ishiban, so he should have some way to re-establish himself. Really needs to deal with this, and hopefully get rid of that TM launcher. Over here, massive airfight going on with Ishiban and Tag Uber on the right-hand side of the map. Of course, this is what's most annoying, I think. Of all of the most annoying things about Cyber Navy, you know, it's not the fact that they have the T3 sub-hunter in itself. It's not the fact that their cruisers are so amazing. It's the fact that they can surface their cruisers and take out air units with it. So, really, Uber's not standing much hope here at all. Horribly outnumbered, and or he may not have been outnumbered at the time, but certainly not going to do particularly well against sub-hunters and ASFs. Over here, we've got Fear engaging Squirrel, and yeah, just see, look at all of that stuff, all that weaponry that's just impacting on the shields and doing no damage to the ships whatsoever. Meanwhile, you've got all of the forces of Squirrel happily firing back and putting damage on Galactic Fear, but you seem to be a little short on numbers. He's hurrying more shield boats in, but he doesn't seem to have a lot of actual damage. I mean, he's got a few cruisers in there, but they're absolutely useless at this point. You know, you need them engaging stationary units at distance, not in the fray. And there's just too many frigates and destroyers from Galactic Fear, coupled with lots and lots of sub-hunters, so that is going to be a very, very successful engagement for Team 2, and that Atlantis, I would imagine, is not going to make it anywhere safe anytime soon. And to be honest, he doesn't, I mean, all he's got shield boats. He doesn't have, he's spamming up more Atlantis. He just doesn't have anything to defend against this. If Galactic Fear is wise, he'll carry on pushing the advantage, and that shall give Team 2 the advantage on the left pocket of the sea, which is very, very handy, especially since this battle is still to be decided. Zoc looking very, very powerful at the moment, lots of shield boats. He's got 2 Atlantis out, he's about to start work on a 3rd, it looks like. So yeah, it's all up for grabs on this bottom ocean at the moment. The shield is Zoc, I imagine. It looks like he's having power problems. Shield's dropped. He's not. Yep. So he's obviously, I imagine, starting building this Atlantis has just sapped all of his power. Massive pause. Well, yeah. Go back to main observer. Did promise in the previous one I wouldn't do that too often, so I'll try not to do that too much now. And Galactic Fear taking his whole navy to destroy this sonar. It's being very disobedient and it's running away. Meanwhile, Ishiban is just taking the chance to get some scouting info, but with his Tech 3 spy planes, he's running them around the side of the map. Zoc cowering in the water, in the little pond that so many commanders have hidden in before him. Indeed, Ishiban is elected to place his commander in the corresponding lake on the other side. Now, 1 Atlantis out for Raging Squirrel, and you've just got to feel that that's not going to do very much at all if Galactic Fear decides to engage now, which it looks like he might be. He's also got some T2 torp bombers circling as well, so massive amounts of superiority, so many naval factories that Galactic Fear has spammed up, so many. But just not pushing the advantage just yet. Seems like he's moving in now, though. So many shield boats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 shield boats. So, I mean, that's a lot of shields to get through with a second Atlantis, but he's just lacking actual damage ships. He needs to be producing more of them, really. He's just building more and more shield boats, and I don't think that's going to go too well for him. Meanwhile, Ishiban is moving his ASFs up to, I assume, help escort the Torp bombers and give any coverage to this fleet. Tag Uber is on the money, though, and he's moving his own ASFs up to the inevitable conflict zone. And combat ensues. Not that you can see a damn thing through those shields when they're getting impacted by so many different things. Uber asking for a fair air fight without flak or SAMs underneath it. Not sure if he's going to get that. 3 Atlantises now up for Squirrel, but I just don't think it's going to work. And could we now have an air fight? Does look like it might be. Ishiban seems pretty committed. No, it's pulling back. These Atlantis now completely undefended. There's no shield boats left. They've been promptly destroyed. The first one's about to go down. A lot of these boats also working on those Torp launchers. Meanwhile, on the bottom, a huge force has built up for Eisen. Lots and lots of Tech 1 frigates, Tech 1 artillery. Meanwhile, Zoc is stacking up the Atlantis. He's up to 4 now, and he has 2 battle cruisers on the way to the fight, so that should help things quite considerably. But meanwhile, on the top, Raging Squirrel's navy is done and dusted, it would seem. Pretty even air fight, but I think Ishiban has got the edge, maybe. He's bringing more in all the time, but I don't think it's enough. So there's going to be no rescue from the air for Raging Squirrel, not that I see any gunships on the field anyway. 2 Atlantis now down, with 1 Atlantis left. That Atlantis won't be far behind it. Squirrel sitting his commander on the coast, clearly resigned to death. Meanwhile, down here on the bottom, we have pretty serious naval engagements happening. It just looks like Eisen might have more offensive units, but there goes Raging Squirrel. Wasn't going to move his comm. Clearly it had enough. He promptly leaves the game. It's more or less impossible to tell who's doing better at this point, but the trouble is, as well, a lot of mass has been tied up in these governors, which is great if you're assaulting shields or you're assaulting land installations, but they're not going to have too much success against this navy. But so much shield coverage from Zoc. Eisen's forces just don't seem to be having any luck there whatsoever. Interesting, Ish has taken his units up here. He's built some harbs, or he's probably had harbs given to him by Ishiban, and along with the blazes as well. But there are quite the number of T2 point defense batteries at that forward station, so he's clearly thought better of it, not wanting to throw away those units. But of course, with this side now lost, Zoc, this entire forward base that was given to him from Freshy, is in serious jeopardy, and as soon as it finishes that, it's going to be next. So things not looking brilliant for Team 1 at the moment. It does look like Team 2 might have this in the bag. Huge air superiority in terms of the Uber-Ishiban race. Uber has been building some strategic bombers. It's got quite a few of them hanging around the map. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Massive engineered build-up. Ah, we have a nuke, which Ishiban has spammed up, and that looks like it's 2/3 done. So, and also a chicken is on the way. So, to be honest, I imagine these units are going to go in with this chicken, and there's going to be a nuke as well. See any nuke defense down here. So really, there's a clear route straight the way up, I think, for any nuke that gets finished. So things looking absolutely dire for Team 1. Zoc doing very well, to be fair, against the Finn Navy. He's holding his own. Doesn't want those battle cruisers to get too far ahead of the shields, because those T3 sub-hunters can turn on you in a jiffy. They are so fast. That nuke is not far off now. Zoc's attention is probably elsewhere. He definitely should be moving these back within the shield. But now, looks like he has realised. Hopefully managed to save the second one. He does. Lots of strat bombers making their way south from Uber. It looks like they've been spotted by Ishiban, who's coming in to intercept. There's also multiple T1 artillery drops going on from Eisen. Very nice. But that won't make landfall, I shouldn't think. It's had a pass from 3 ASFs, but they're not going to get it in time. Oh, that's painful. So that's going to be pretty nasty for Zoc's forward base. Ishiban now making short work, it would look like, of a massively, or not massively, but an inferior force. But he's splitting up his ASFs to go after these strat bombers, which I like. Question is, what are the strat bombers' target? Apparently they've been told to hold position over the enemy fleet. That's no good. Chicken making penetration, taking out that forward post, and the end of those
strategic launch detected.
T2 batteries will be the end of any defense they have it, and there goes the nuke. And there's also a experimental bomber for Galactic Fear on its way north. Strat bombers managed to survive, so clearly Uber doing something right. The question is, what's he going to do with it? Looks like he may be making a beeline for the nuke launcher. There goes the nuke, making its way across the map. And this really does look like the end for Team 1. Valiant efforts, though, made by Zoc and Uber. And that is going to be a lot of kills. Uber, suspecting that he is going to be the target of this nuke, has managed to get a GC up, but it looks like maybe, unless it's going here, the nuke. No, it is going for the back box, so unfortunately marching the Colossus right into the path of the nuke, but that is going to be a lot of kills for that nuke launcher. Meanwhile, the bomber coming in to take out the other air factory, so Uber has been absolutely annihilated. Oh, that's painful. So that bomber just got 225 kills. I'm not sure if that was all there. It probably isn't going to make it out of there, I shouldn't think. No, it's going to get shot down. There are too many ASFs, but it certainly served its purpose. Meanwhile, this nuke launcher got 283 kills. It's monstrous. So Uber losing over 500 units in a matter of seconds. And that is going to be him out of the game. That GC has survived, but it's down, sitting around the 30k hit point mark. And it's not really got much left to protect, in all honesty. So he's going to march it out anyway, I guess. Maybe put some fire on the fleet. Saying, I don't need NGs or a base or mass. That's because you're the man, Uber. Meanwhile, shield boats finally failed, all taken out. Atlantis looking isolated. And of course this battlecruiser not able to kill anything because it doesn't have... Oh, it does have torpedoes, sorry, excuse me, it does have torpedoes. God, I didn't know that. It's because I never play EVF, I don't know why. But it will probably not make it out of there along with its Atlantis buddies. Far too many sub-hunters on the go. Harbs, Loyalists and Blazers all coming in, trying to finish off this. Looks like, is that the last? That's the last hub of production for Uber. The Ish has nicely split up his forces. He's going after all the little bits with coordinated attacks. A few T1 artillery pieces coming in from that earlier drop from Eisen. Tetris trying to defend his last air factory and doing a good job of it. Certainly these are going to fall to these restorers unless Ishiban can come in and take them out. Looks like his air advantage has slipped slightly. Tasted bitches. So a chicken from Galactic Fear doing a nice job of cleaning up Zoc's base. Zoc taking his commander out of the water. Clearly in the mood for a little bit of Harry-Carry. Tasting it. Oh, you've got to love these guys. You really do, and there he goes. So valiantly played, good effort, Zoc, but just not quite got it what it took to defeat Team 2 in this one. Strat bombers coming in and force firing the pond in which Tag Tetris is now hiding.
Strategic launch detected.
Another nuke going off, but I shouldn't think they really need it. If they keep force firing this, it should probably get him down. Oh. He control Cade, so That is a game. Well done, Team 2. Valiantly played. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. I certainly did. Yeah, but more Setons to come in the future. It'll be a little while before I do another one. I know they're very, very popular, but I certainly don't want to fill up the whole series with them, so I'm going to be doing them kind of periodically like I did this one and the last one. So stay tuned for more. I shall have more from the Imber Cup soon, guys, but for now, this is Guile.